A $180 billion hidden gold deposit has finally been mapped, and what they found changes everything. For over a century, miners have been pulling gold out of Australia's Outback. Massive nuggets, rich veins, billions of dollars worth. But they never knew what was really down there, until now. Because beneath the surface, hidden under layers of rock that no one could see through, there's a gold deposit so massive, it dwarfs almost everything we've ever found. 3,000 tons of gold, locked in ancient volcanic systems that have been sitting there, untouched, for over 2.5 billion years. But here's where it gets strange. This gold wasn't lost. It wasn't buried by some catastrophic event. It was invisible, hidden by geology itself. And the only reason we can see it now is because of technology that didn't exist 5 years ago. So, if this deposit was hiding in one of the most explored regions on Earth, what else is out there? How many trillion-dollar secrets are still buried beneath our feet, waiting for the right eyes to finally see them? Gold fever gripped Australia long before satellites and supercomputers entered the scene. In the late 1800s, fortune seekers poured into Western Australia's outback, drawn by rumors of golden seams running through the ancient earth. The Yilgarn Craton, forged nearly 2.7 billion years ago, became the backdrop for a relentless hunt that would define a nation's wealth. Year after year, miners chipped away at the surface, uncovering nuggets the size of fists and veins so rich they sparked entire towns into existence. The numbers are staggering even by today's standards. Australia now produces around 10 million ounces of gold every year, much of it from these same greenstone belts. The Super Pit at Kalgoorlie stands as a monument to that ambition. Stretching nearly 4 kilometers long and over 600 meters deep, it has yielded more than 50 million ounces since operations began, making it one of the largest open-pit gold mines on the planet. Mines like Boddington and Tropicana have kept the country near the top of global gold production, feeding billions of dollars into the economy and fueling dreams of untold riches hidden just beneath the surface. Yet, after generations of digging, a sense of finality set in. The easy gold was gone. Geologists believed the land had given up its best secrets. Maps grew dense with drill holes, and every square kilometer of the Yilgarn seemed spoken for. As Andy Tudor, managing director of Nexus Minerals, put it, "We've been drilling non-stop for 18 months, 5 fantastic prospects ready for mineral resource estimate drill-outs." Even the experts began to wonder if anything truly monumental could still be hiding in such well-trodden ground. The stage was set for a surprise that would challenge everything they thought they knew about Australia's goldfields. Maps filled with drill sites and exploration grids gave the illusion of certainty. Decades of surveys had carved up the Yilgarn's greenstone belts into a patchwork of claims, each one measured, sampled, and catalogued. On paper, the region looked exhausted. Every promising anomaly already drilled, every target either mined or dismissed. Yet, beneath the surface, something didn't add up. The numbers from old surveys sometimes hinted at density anomalies or subtle geophysical quirks, but these were brushed aside as background noise or explained away by the thick layers of sediment and weathered rock that blanketed the ancient volcanic terrain. These cover sequences could be hundreds of meters thick, masking everything below from traditional exploration tools. Many geologists trusted their instruments, believing that if gold was there, it would have shown itself by now. But the tools of the past had limits. Air core and shallow rotary drilling rarely went deep enough to pierce the cover. Early gravity and magnetic surveys blurred together, unable to resolve subtle signals from deep within the earth. Some reports even described near misses. Holes drilled just meters from what would later prove to be rich mineralization were abandoned because the data didn't seem promising at the time. Even as late as the 2010s and the 2020s, companies spent millions chasing shallow targets while ignoring strange readings that didn't fit established models. The prevailing wisdom said the land was picked clean, and so the biggest clues were left buried in archives, tagged as irrelevant. It wasn't until new eyes, unbiased, tireless, and armed with technology that could see through stone, began to revisit the old data that the cracks in this certainty became impossible to ignore. The story of Australia's goldfields wasn't over. It had just been hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to ask the right questions. On a quiet morning inside a cluttered lab in Perth, a new kind of gold rush began, not with the roar of dynamite, but with the low hum of servers and the glow of a computer screen. Dr. Maya Patel, a geophysicist obsessed with the unsolved puzzles of the Yilgarn, sat surrounded by towers of old survey printouts and hard drives packed with decades of exploration data. For years, she'd watched as promising leads vanished beneath the weight of cover rocks, dismissed as noise by traditional tools. But this time, the rules were different. In front of her, a suite of advanced algorithms churned through thousands of gravity and electromagnetic readings, some dating back to the 1980s. Patel's team had deployed full-tensor gravity gradiometry, FTG, collecting data from sensors flown low over the bush in tight, precise lines. Unlike old gravimeters, FTG could detect the faintest warps in the Earth's density, even through hundreds of meters of barren overburden. Alongside it, airborne electromagnetic surveys mapped the way mineralized fluids had once moved through fracture zones, tracing the ancient scars left by hydrothermal events. But the true breakthrough came when they fed these vast, messy datasets into a neural network trained to spot patterns invisible to the human eye. As the AI layered data from every decade, gravity, magnetics, seismic, even forgotten drill logs, it began to assemble a picture that no single instrument could have drawn. Anomalies once written off as statistical quirks sharpened into focus. Subtle density contrasts lined up with conductive halos, forming the ghostly outline of something massive, hidden deep below the cover. The neural network flagged it with a confidence score Patel had never seen before. She called her team over as the 3D model snapped into place on the screen. There it was, a gold-rich system stretching for kilometers, tucked beneath layers of volcanic rock that had kept it secret for billions of years. The model depicted not just a blob, but a detailed map, faults, fracture networks, the likely pathways of ancient mineralizing fluids. For a moment, no one spoke. The sense of discovery was electric. Patel scrolled through the slices, watching the deposit's shape emerge in vivid color. It was as if the Earth itself had been peeled back, revealing a fortune that had waited since the dawn of life. Years of missed opportunities, the frustration of near misses and dry holes, all faded into the background. The data didn't just suggest gold, it mapped it, with a clarity that made the old doubts seem almost quaint. In that instant, the idea of an exhausted goldfield was shattered. The tools had changed, and so had the odds. For Patel and her team, the impossible was now a data set, measured, mapped, and finally, undeniable. Long before the first pick struck gold in the Yilgarn, a different kind of drama played out deep beneath the Earth. Picture an ancient world, more than 2.5 billion years ago. The land that would become Western Australia was a violent, restless place. Volcanic arcs collided and merged, forging vast belts of greenstone, dense, iron-rich rocks that now stretch for hundreds of kilometers beneath the Outback. These were the bones of a newborn continent, shaped by forces that no human would ever witness. As molten rock surged and cooled, fractures split the crust open. Superheated water, loaded with minerals from deep below, surged through these cracks. Driven by the heat of volcanic activity, these hydrothermal fluids carried gold, sulfur, and other elements in solution. Every time the pressure dropped or the chemistry shifted, gold began to crystallize. Over countless cycles, the metal accumulated in veins and pockets, locked away in fault zones and fracture networks. The process was slow, invisible and relentless, nature's own alchemy, working at a pace measured in millions of years. The greenstone belts of the Yilgarn Craton became a kind of geological vault, layers of ancient lava, ash, and sediment piled up, burying the gold ever deeper. Later, thick blankets of weathered rock and sediment, known as cover sequences, settled over the landscape, concealing everything below. Some of these covers are hundreds of meters thick, enough to hide even the richest deposits from the eyes of early prospectors and the reach of their tools. What sets these goldfields apart isn't just their age, but the complexity of their story. The gold didn't arrive in a single event. It was the product of repeated pulses, each volcanic flare-up, each tectonic collision, each shift in the Earth's crust sent new waves of mineral-rich fluids into the rocks. Some deposits formed as the supercontinent of Valbara began to break apart, others as Gondwana assembled eons later. The result is a patchwork of gold systems, each with its own signature, all layered atop one another in a tangled geological history. Modern geologists read these rocks like pages in an ancient book. Isotope dating traces the gold's origins to hydrothermal events between 2.7 and 2.5 billion years ago. The signature of volcanic arcs and the chemistry of the greenstones reveal the pathways that fluids followed, the traps where gold collected, and the scars left behind by shifting continents. Even today, the most advanced imaging can only hint at the full complexity of what lies beneath the cover. This is why so much gold remained hidden for so long. The land above seemed barren, but below, a world shaped by fire and water quietly stored away fortunes beyond imagination. The discovery of a massive concealed deposit isn't just a triumph of technology. It's the latest chapter in a story that began before life itself took hold on Earth. Every ounce of gold pulled from these depths carries with it the memory of a planet in upheaval and the promise that deep time still has secrets left to share. Jack Thompson stands on the edge of his family's property, boots dusted red from decades of drought and flood. His grandfather arrived here with nothing but a battered pick and a promise that the land would provide. Now, word of a hidden gold deposit worth more than the entire state's annual budget has spread through the Outback like wildfire. For Jack, it's a lifeline. Years of falling wool prices and rising costs have left his operation hanging by a thread. The idea of a new mine brings hope. Jobs for his neighbors, roads finally paved, a future his children might want to come home to. If even a fraction of that gold comes out, he says, this whole region changes. We're talking schools, clinics, real money in people's pockets. But not everyone shares Jack's optimism. Ellen Corey, a community leader and proud descendant of the land's traditional custodians, sees a different set of risks. Her people's stories are written into the rocks and waterholes that dot the greenstone belt. The hills and dry creeks hold sacred sites older than memory, places that must not be disturbed. Ellen's voice is steady, but the weight of responsibility is clear. We've seen what happens when mining moves in fast. Promises of respect, but old wounds reopened. Our elders worry about what's lost, spiritually, not just physically. Surveys taken across the region reveal a split. Around 60% of locals, many from farming or small business backgrounds, anticipate windfall royalties and a surge in local investment. They talk of new shops, upgraded hospitals, and the chance for young people to stay rather than drift to the city. But nearly a third express deep concern about water use and the threat to sacred sites. The Outback's aquifers are fragile, and a mine of this scale could draw billions of liters each year. For some, the fear isn't just environmental, it's existential. If the water goes, the land dies, one elder warns. No gold can buy that back. Native title claims overlay much of the greenstone belt. Negotiations are tense, balancing the hope of generational wealth against the risk of irreversible loss. Some families see opportunity in partnership, royalties, jobs, a seat at the table. Others recall broken promises, scars left by mines that came and went, leaving only tailings and empty camps. The debate spills into town halls and kitchen tables, pitting neighbor against neighbor, sometimes even splitting families. Jack and Ellen meet at a community forum, their stories different but intertwined by the land itself. Beneath the surface, fortune and heritage are tangled together, and every decision carries consequences that will echo for generations. The discovery has set off more than a rush for gold. It's forced the people of the Outback to reckon with what kind of future they want and what they're willing to risk to get there. News of the hidden gold deposit didn't just electrify the Outback. Within weeks, the story ricocheted through boardrooms in Sydney, Hong Kong, London, and Toronto. The old rules of exploration no longer seem to apply. If a multi-billion-dollar fortune could be hiding in one of the most heavily mapped mining provinces on Earth, what did that mean for the rest of the world's so-called exhausted goldfields? Suddenly, every patch of ground that had ever been written off as barren was back in play. Investment houses scrambled to raise new funds, and venture capital poured into exploration startups at rates not seen in decades. Reports showed a 300% increase in global VC funding for gold exploration, with more than $500 million flowing into companies promising to use AI and advanced geophysics to hunt for the next big find. Junior explorers in Canada and Africa dusted off old survey maps, feeding them into neural networks in hopes of teasing out missed anomalies. Even major producers, known for their caution, began snapping up land tenements that had languished for years. The market's appetite for risk had returned, fueled by the idea that the next hidden giant could be anywhere. Professor Liam Hart, a mining economist at the University of Western Australia, watched the frenzy unfold with a mix of excitement and caution. We're seeing a gold rush mentality, but it's powered by data, not rumor, he explained at a recent industry forum. The numbers are stunning. Some estimates suggest there could be as much as 1.5 billion ounces of undiscovered gold still locked beneath cover rocks globally. That's trillions of dollars in untapped value. And now, for the first time, we have the tools to actually find it. Trading floors responded in kind. Gold prices surged as speculators bet on new discoveries, and mining shares outpaced the broader market. Mergers and acquisitions accelerated, with companies jockeying for control of promising ground in Australia, West Africa, and beyond. Turnover in the sector surged past $100 billion in a single year, as investors rushed to stake their claim in the new frontier. For explorers, the message was clear. No region was truly explored until every dataset had been re-examined with fresh eyes. The ripple effects of Australia's discovery were global, rewriting not just the map of gold deposits, but the very playbook for how the world hunts for its most coveted metal. Today, deep learning algorithms and seismic imaging are rewriting the boundaries of what we think we know about Earth's riches. As technology sharpens, the line between myth and possibility blurs, and resources once thought unreachable edge closer to reality. The ground beneath us still holds secrets. The next revolution in discovery may be just one dataset away. What do you think lies hidden beneath your feet?